Hello everyone, I am so pleased today to be joined by Nadine Mansfield, who is a friend of mine, an ex-colleague, and I am always amazed and love hearing about Nadine tell her story of career transformation because I'm completely in awe of it. And Nadine runs her own business now, which is called
Nadine Mansfield Garden Design.
and she's based in Poynton, and we need to say that you haven't supplied these plants because they are actually plastic.
Yeah. It's all right, I'll let you off.
Yeah, okay. And we've known each other for 16 years.
Yes, unbelievably.
Yeah. And we worked together at Manchester Airport Group. And you've also worked for some major brands in sort of corporate roles, senior roles. You've worked for Jockey Club, Manchester United, Key 103 radio station, others I'm sure that I can't recall. And then you decided to make this huge career change and go into garden design.
Yeah.
You made that transition, that business transformation in terms of how you were working. You did it so successfully that you won the 2024 Royal Horticultural Society Award, Silver Gilt Award at Tatton Park show. What was that?
So I did my first ever show garden last year at Tatton, which is like, I like to think the Chelsea of the North, Chelsea Flower Show of the North. And they had the inaugural category of the career changer, which they've not done before. So I think there's a bit of a shift change in people who go into garden design, that they tend to have been in the corporate world for a number of years. They get a bit jaded by it, for want of a better expression, and decide on, they want to do something different. And so they've acknowledged that, the RHS have acknowledged that and introduced the career changer category for the first time last year. And so I thought, you know what, in for a penny, in for a pound, got to do it at some point. And so I entered the better new build garden, because I have a bit of a thing about new build gardens just being really challenging creatively for clients. So you move in and it's just a blank canvas that people just don't know what to do with. So I wanted to do a design that inspired people to cram as many different elements and opportunities into their outdoor space as they possibly could. So it was the career changer category, the better new build garden, and I got a silver gilt medal for it for the first time I've done a show garden. So and it was amazing. The experience was incredible. Yeah,
I think that story, just what you've done and what you've achieved there, is just testament that if you've got a dream and you've got a vision, you can do it. Anything is possible.
Yeah, and if you'd have said to me 10 years ago that I'd be sitting here now with you talking about my career in garden design, I'd have laughed my head off, because there's just, 10 years it wasn't even in my consciousness of that I'd be a garden designer. And and I've been in business 6 years in January. So I love it though. I absolutely love it. And
tell everybody listening what inspired you to actually make the change, because we have all thought about, I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to have a, but you've actually done it. So what was the inspiration that made you think, right, it's happening now?
So there's a few things really. There's a bit of being pushed corporately, not in the best way.
Yeah.
My family situation, so my mum had her own floristry business for 20 odd years. My granddad was massively into horticulture. Myself, never really it was never at the forefront of my, being really, sort of never been really very green fingered consciously. But we moved house about 8 years ago to Poynton, and the garden was a blank canvas, going back to what I've just been saying about you stand in a garden and go, oh God, what now? And basically found myself at the local garden centre every 5 minutes. And it was a nice summer, I think. And I was just like, oh, this is really nice. Plants everywhere. Got caught up in the whole retail experience of garden centres wooing you with gorgeous plants and everything. Spent far too much money. but had a really nice time.
And a really nice garden.
And a nice, yeah. And it was all right, you know, it was doing okay. And I thought, God, I'm really enjoying this. But at the time, I was freelancing. So to go back a step, my last corporate job was at the Jockey Club. So in, a senior marketing role in the Northwest region for them. So working on the Grand National.
Yeah.
Which was an amazing experience. I look back on it now and go, the poor horses. But anyway, didn't really think that one through as a career move. But, it's an internationally recognised event. And from a marketing point of view, working in sport for marketing, it was an incredible opportunity. Anyway, I left the job.
Yeah.
And I freelanced for a bit. Had Marley, my little boy. And as any parents listening will probably realise, it was a massive shock to my system, basically. So, and marketing these days, I just feel like it's a real young person's game.
Well, it's a young person's, and AI, and everything's coming in. It
just
really
massively changed versus what I went into it for, really. So, so there I am, freelancing, doing the marketing. Had some lovely clients. But I was also at home doing the garden and had this epiphany one day and just said to my husband, Dave, I'm really enjoying this. I think I'm going to go to college. And he's just looking at me as if to say, oh, God, here we go again. She's like, she's changed her mind about the future. What's it going to be next? So I basically went to college. So went on a Monday night and did my science module, which really tested me mentally because, it was all a bit like flipping out cell division and, transpiration of water through plants. And I was just like, twitching a bit with all that. But
you did it.
But I did it. And then the practical on a Thursday, which was great because it was basically doing 4 hours of gardening on a Thursday with a load of like-minded people, having a right laugh. And getting stuck in. So there was a really nice mix.
Yeah.
And it was nice to be back in a classroom again.
Was it?
Yeah, a physical classroom. Because then COVID came and I had to do Zoom classes. And at the time, Marley was really little. So he'd just come in with like a blanket over his head because he could see himself on camera just being an absolute little silly person. And I couldn't get any work done. So, you're just going, getting everything thrown at you.
Yeah,
anyway,
it's a lot.
I digress. But so basically I did my RHS diploma and went also, because of my love of the garden centre locally, they were looking for somebody to join as a horticultural assistant. So I was like, oh, I'm going to have a go at that. Oh, dear God. Minimum wage, so you've gone from senior marketing role to earning nothing very much at all. And that in itself is a really interesting exercise because it was brilliant in the sense of I had no responsibilities. I just turned up at 9:15 because the boss of the garden centre, the plant area there, Tony, was a legend. And there's nothing he doesn't know about plants, but he's also a really decent guy, lovely man. Took me under his wing and he just said, what hours do you want, basically? So I was like, oh, let me think about that.
Fantastic.
So I think he just saw, we've got someone here who's actually really keen and, wants to get on. He understood this, I had a little one and stuff. And so I used to go in at 9:15, 20 minutes for lunch, finish at 2:45 and go and pick Marley up 2 or 3 days a week.
Yeah.
For not very much money at all. But it didn't matter because I was still doing a little bit of freelancing on the side to start with, a couple of days a week, doing the college work, doing the garden centre stuff and learning a load whilst I was on the job about the plants.
I was going to say, that must have really helped with your learning.
It was invaluable. It was totally invaluable. And what was great was the customers would come in and they'd be asking the questions, and that was the real test because you think, oh my God, I don't know the answer to this. And you had to be on the front foot and know what you were talking about. And if you didn't know what you were talking about, you had to go and ask the question and be brave enough to be honest about the fact that you didn't know the answer. And so it was quite vulnerable as a position, but an amazing learning experience.
I think sometimes learning on the job as well, because I facilitate action learning within the transformation tribe, and learning while doing something, and actually it helps you remember it. It really resonates with you, and you kind of, it's much more enjoyable experience for some people than others.
Yeah, and I think if I look back to when I was at college as a 16-year-old or 17-year-old, get me in an exam and I'm just like, oh no, I don't know what it is. But if I'm doing coursework and it's all practical, which some people say is the easiest, I don't know if it is easier or not. It's just more enjoyable to me. So I just definitely learn from the application of it. And there's and that follows through now to today. I'm on site this morning with the lads who are building a garden I've designed, and we're constantly talking about how to do stuff, because you have to. It's a garden, it's external. You've got different levels to deal with. Technology with paving, which can sound quite dull to the average person. It's really important to get right. So you constantly talk. With this morning, we were talking about grouting of the patio, because they wanted to use one certain way, material, which I don't agree with, and for different reasons. So you're kind of learning on the job all the time. So we're talking that through, but to learn it in the practical situation for me is just the way that it goes in. It might age your brain.
Well, it's lifelong learning, isn't it? And it is a completely, relatively new field of expertise, and like you say, it's always changing. Materials are always modernizing. Things change, don't they? And I'm guessing the very little I know about gardening, but every garden is different, faces a different direction, has different soil quality. So I guess the array of options changes all the time.
Yeah, it does. It was when I was learning so back to the RHS diploma, it was like learning a different language, because you have to learn the botanical names, the Latin names of all the plants. So fortunately, that was all right. I quite enjoyed that. The science bit, as I've already said, was just like, oh God, this is awful. But the botanical name thing, ask me a common name of a plant and I'm rubbish. I don't often know them. I have to force myself to learn that, because a lot of people, especially in the garden centre environment, come in and they're talking common names to you, and you're going, pardon, what's the botanical name? And they just come out, I don't know. That's a different language, love. But no, it does definitely tax the brain. And then, there's building regulations that are about to change, which when you go into the garden design, you don't necessarily know that's going to start hitting you. And it's really important that you know about that, because then from a client's point of view, you're getting everything right. And you're also a female in a very male dominated world. So you've got to know your stuff, because you're coming up against male landscapers who don't really like being told what to do. Not that I'm telling them what to do, but they think they know everything.
Your way. You've got a different perspective.
And it's like, well, I do know, and I was on the phone to a structural engineer earlier and talking about walls being tanked and, footings for raised. So you just, like I say, if you'd have said 10 years ago, I'd be having this conversation, I'd have laughed. But I absolutely love it.
What have you found the most challenging or the most scary thing? Because you've made a really bold life choice with responsibilities. You've got a husband, you've got bills to pay like everybody else, you've got a small child.
I think anyone who's self-employed would say you never know where the next job's coming from, do you? So that, like you say, you've got responsibilities. So the way that I reason with myself on that is, if you're in a corporate job, you're not safe these days anyway. So, you could go into a brand new job, be there for 3 months, and they just turn around one day and say, sorry, your face doesn't fit. Obviously, they're not going to say that, but that's what they mean. Or we need to make cuts, redundancies, that kind of thing. So that's how I reason with myself with that. I'm 6 years in, and this is the busiest year I've ever had. So just do a bit of touch wood there, that continues.
Brilliant,
So I'm wondering if that's a bedding in thing, or it could be the success of Tatton last year, just general awareness more because I've built more gardens, got more of a portfolio.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to it.
Yeah. But it's working.
But it's working.
Yeah.
Touch wood again. So, and also just the network of landscapers, the network of fellow garden designers. That all helps because you, with any industry, you start then building those connections. So that all works as well. To answer the question about the scary thing, try not to worry about it so much now, because there have been years previously where it gets to October, November, December, which is what, 3 months, 4 months into January, and you're thinking, oh crikey,
Yeah.
It's getting a bit tight. It won't
Um,
help me.
What's the best thing about doing this now, or is there many best things? If you were to pick one thing that you'd say, how would you describe it?
I love the freedom that it gives me. There's loads of things, really.
Yeah.
There isn't just one.
And being outside must be great. It's so good for your mental health. And
yeah, so in fact, that is one of the main things, is the mix that I get with it. So we have a bit of a running joke with friends where they think I'm a gardener, and I'm like, I'm not a gardener, I'm a garden designer, but I love gardening.
Yeah.
So this morning I was on site accepting deliveries of plants that I've arranged. The lads are on site, they're still building the garden, and then 200 plants come in and some gorgeous trees and some setting them all out. And that's really lovely, because for a lot of the time you sat at your desk. So I'm at my desk designing in front of the laptop, losing the will to live. The fridge is too nearby, the kettle's close. There's lots of distractions.
Yeah.
So, motivating yourself as a business owner on their own, because I don't employ anybody. So it's down to me to motivate myself. But the mix of being outside, working with great people, building brilliant relationships with the landscapers, having fellow garden designers, the creativity of it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, no garden's the same. So every single brief is different.
Yeah.
So that taps right back into the marketing side of stuff, and in my career, and every campaign was different because it had to be. So it taps into a lot of what I've done previously, I suppose, from a creative point of view. And just that, the loveliest part really is, the garden makeover programs, right? When Alan covers the client's eyes, walks them in, and the tears are coming and all of that. I've had that happen. So
that must be
it's amazing.
Feeling.
Yeah, because you think, oh my gosh, we've done this.
Yeah.
And you get the goosebumps. And last year, a client up in High Lane, a really lovely client. All clients in the main are lovely anyway, but she'd gone out to work for the day, and we planted it all up, and there was a lot of planting actually. When I look back at that job, it's hilarious, because just think, how on earth did we manage to do that? We had 3 of us on it that day. And she came back and she walked out the back of the house and just burst into tears.
Oh, how wonderful.
And one of them was on the phone to her mum, going, oh my God, you can't believe the garden. And
that is a good feeling.
Yeah. And you think, gosh, we've done this, and I designed that, and when I'm nothing without the landscapers. So that relationship's really important, because you can have the vision, you can draw it all out and think what it wants to look like, but I can't build it. I'm all right with planting. I know I can get them if the soil's fresh. But I can't. I know how a patio should be laid, but I wouldn't want to do that. So that relationship's really important. So that it all comes to fruition, everyone's really happy, and when the client's just wowed by it and they realise where their investment's gone, and they're just joyous about it, and then you get little videos a few months later. And
that's what I was going to ask you about. That, do you see then over time sort of like the garden maturing and people invite you back and stuff?
Which is lovely. And last year at Tatton, it's one of the first gardens I ever designed, and one of the first ones we ever built. which is just my proper happy place, is in Puddington in Cheshire, and Julian, the client's just lovely, and it's this gorgeous walled cottage garden, but it had nothing in it. So when I went to see him at first, it was just this huge lawn, bit of a hedge, bit of a walled garden. His property's gorgeous, and I couldn't quite believe my luck. When I walked up, I was like, oh my God, a bit overwhelmed, thinking, you've got to be kidding, why has he chosen me? This is mad.
And this was your first one?
Yeah. And it was during lockdown. So we'd done some smaller stuff, but this was the biggie, the first biggie. And he wanted a pond, he wanted paths, he wanted lots of, he wanted a cottage garden, and he got it. But he came to Tatton last year, and it was lovely because it's like he's seen my career as a garden designer evolve over time, really nice. And we just have this really nice friendship, and he just thinks it's magical, that garden, and I think it's magical when I go back, and I just can't believe, the wildlife arrived as soon as we planted it. The dragonflies were there, and rabbits, and
it sounds
bees
magical.
And butterflies, and it really is. And he's just in awe of that garden. He talks with love about it, and you think, God, So I feel lucky to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah,
absolutely, I love it. Yeah.
And in anything, because when I talk about transformation, the people power, the power of people and the power of relationships is everything, because you can have a mechanism that works or a process that works or a system that works, but unless people are really emotionally connected to it, or those relationships aren't there, or that collaborative spirit, like you say, you can't do it without your landscapers. It's all of that people power that actually makes it happen and makes it so special, which is
absolutely. And now there's just this hardcore of landscapers that I'll work with. They want to work with me, I want to work with them. We trust each other.
Yeah, trust is so important.
It really massive, hugely important. Yeah. So I know that if I create a design, they will deliver it.
Yeah.
And previously what I've had to do is, or wanted to do, is be on site every other day to check stuff. And now I don't need to, because I just know, we both know that they just pick up the phone to me, or I'll nip in, and they don't feel threatened by any of that. Like this morning again, we're just having a right laugh.
Yeah.
Because it's just really nice. And,
fantastic.
And you think, and you just think, oh gosh, this is just really lovely that we've created all of that.
Everybody listening is going to want to come to work.
You're all invited.
Come and job shadow you for a day, because I feel good factor.
It's great. And, it's I always say it's an absolute privilege to work in this industry, because you are invited in to people's homes and their sanctuaries. And it might not feel like a sanctuary to start with, but it certainly does by the time we've left, and I like to think. But it's the personal space, and for someone to entrust you with that as a job and to get it right is a pretty big deal, really. Because it's like, if you even down to someone coming in to, I don't know, do painting and decorating, if they get it wrong, it's like, oh God, and or the plumber doesn't put the right fixing on, or I don't know. It's just, you want it to be right.
It's so personal.
It is personal, and it's a lot of money that's
and
being
they're
spent.
Trusting you. And you want it. And when you talk about it, we've worked together in different settings, and we've seen each other in stressful situations or different situations, and the way you talk about this, you can tell it's just like, I just think it's so motivational, because you're just absolutely glowing about. Moving on then, if anybody's listening to this that is in the corporate world and is thinking, oh, I just want to get out, I want to make that transformation in my career, my life, I want to do something differently, but I can't because I've got all this financial worry, and there's a risk to doing something new, and what if it fails, and what would you say to them if you were having a coffee or a glass of wine or something with them?
Well, there's a few people recently who've kind of had that conversation with me. There's the classic cliche of you only live once, but that's just really obvious.
Yeah,
because everyone says it. and you do. We only live once, and it's really scary, the prospect of jacking it all in. I was kind of forced into the position of leaving my corporate job.
Yeah.
And went to freelance, and then just found myself kind of going, God, I'm a bit fed up with this now.
Yeah.
And the circumstances had changed, so I thought, oh, sod it, I'll just go and do something different, and that's what I did. However, I don't earn what I earned in the corporate world, and I'm quite happy to say that.
Okay.
The potential's there.
Yes.
The scalability is there.
Yeah,
with
you
the
can
business.
see that.
It's whether I choose to do that. And don't get me wrong, I'm doing all right. But mentally, I'm in such a better place. And I have stress, don't get me wrong, but I don't have the stress that I had. And I've had people say to me, why are you doing a master's? I've had people say, well, you're doing the garden design, you don't need to do anything else. And I'm doing it because I want to broaden my horizons for, I'm not dead yet.
Exactly, and it gives you options, I guess.
It
if
does
you
give my option.
you want to scale,
yeah.
You've got more.
Yeah, if I want to go and do more commercial work or consultancy, lecturing,
exactly,
all of that good stuff, and plus it's a broader learning landscape architecture. It's not just design. It's lots of other amazing stuff around, big picture landscapes, and it's not domestic gardens. So, plus, it keeps the old grey matter ticking over.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think to the people who maybe think, oh, I'd love to change career. Yeah, it's a bit scary, but I'd also think about, what do you really want to do?
Yeah. And what's the purpose of it?
What are you good at? So the person who I was talking about earlier, so there's the person who's doing their personal training qualifications. They know they're good at that, and they know they love it. So they're halfway there.
Of course.
What they need to do now is go, right, what's my salary? Carve it up. What do I need to earn? And off they pop. And just be bold, because the fitness environment and well-being is bigger than ever.
Yes.
So they're going to be fine, right?
Yes.
They just need to make the bold move and take the jump, and they'll be okay. And then the other person who's obviously just going, I've got so many responsibilities, and they don't want to let go of that salary or whatever that may be. But also they're really good at what they do. They're really good at what they do. And like, you're really good at what you do, which is why what you're doing now.
And you're really good at what you do.
It's the Mutual Appreciation Society. But it's, you're doing it because you're good at what you do. And they're brilliant at communications, and they're brilliant at dealing with people and political situations. And I can see all of this. And I just wish that they would take that step back. Yeah. Maybe take a month off.
Take some time.
And go, right then, actually, all of that. Because I think when you're on that treadmill, it's really tricky to take the time and think, how could I flex this? And I could work 3 days a week and have 2 days off, or be my own boss, be amazing, give everything that I'm giving to this one organisation, maybe dish that out to a few different other organisations who would really benefit from that input. So just everybody leave your jobs. Let's have a revolution. No, I'm only joking, because I do get it. I absolutely do get it.
But you've done it, and you're a great example of what can be achieved with hard work and application, and obviously your support network as well. You've got people who backed you up and are behind you and saying, do it, go for it, we believe in you.
And I thought, I don't want to. I love the garden centre, as you know, but I didn't want to work there forever. Because it wasn't for me.
You could do more.
And it was retail. It was working weekends. Marley was 5 at the time. It just wasn't. That was never a long-term solution.
So what's next?
Well,
What's the?
I need
the
to get that
next 6 years?
dissertation
Oh,
done.
you do, yeah.
Graduation next July. So yeah, that's January the 16th is the day.
Deadline.
Is the deadline. So I want it done by Christmas.
By the 14th of
I
January.
know, yeah, exactly. I need in my head I want it done by Christmas
Yeah.
because I just don't want it hanging
Good
over
plan.
me
Good plan.
when I'm getting stuck into the Baileys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'd love to do Chelsea Flower Show.
Brilliant.
So if anyone's, got £500,000 they want to throw at sponsorship, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Because that's how much it costs.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is
If
it
you want to
really?
do a main avenue garden,
Wow.
which they probably wouldn't let me do
You never know. You never know.
as a first stab, but even just to do a small container garden or a balcony garden can cost upwards of 50, 60, 70 grand. So you need
sponsors then.
You need a sponsor behind you, but it's the pinnacle really of a garden designer's career to be able to go and do that, and just the experience of it.
I'm sure you will.
We'll see.
I'm sure it'll happen.
It's crunch time really for me, I think, in the next couple of years as to whether I scale the business or not, or whether I remain just me.
Yeah. Because
Marley goes to high school.
Yeah.
He'll be a bit freer. P.S. I'm absolutely dreading it. So there'll be a bit more freedom for me, I think, to broaden out and do more stuff.
I can't wait to see what happens.
Thank you very much.
I can't wait to see.
We shall see. Well, I'll come back and see you.
Yeah.
Or you can interview me at Chelsea.
Yeah, definitely. No, that would be wonderful.
Perhaps don't put that on record just in case it never happens.
That could be wonderful. I might be working for you at that point. I might be part of your scale plan. I'll be in the background planting stuff.
Absolutely. And if it isn't Chelsea, it'll be Tatton 2027. Yes. I think it is, or 26. Is 26 next year?
Yes.
It is,
next
isn't
year
it?
is 26.
Yeah, so 27. They're due to be back at Tatton, so I'd like to be there again. Getting gold next time would be nice. So we shall see. Well,
you're great at what you do, and all Nadine's links are in the bio below. So your website, your socials are all in there.
Thank you.
So everybody can connect up with you. Your LinkedIn, check out her work, and admire it, because it really is fantastic. You've done some great projects.
You're very kind.
And thank you so much. I love talking to you about that. It makes me
you.
so happy, because I just think, wow. Let's do a cheers.
Oh, cheers, Sarah.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me. Cheers.